live. Greetings, readers and travelers, and welcome to another episode of Stats on Stats. And it messed up almost. Nope, it didn't mess up anything. Cool. All my stats are still the same, so volume levels look good. Had a mild heart attack there. You know me. My name is Richie Stevens, and I am the host of Stats on Stats. Today, I am joined by, you know him. He's been on the show multiple times. Four-time returning champion, Mr. Zachary Johnson. Zach.
Hello.
How we doing today?
Good. Awake, which is surprising at this hour lately.
That's fine.
5 p.m.
I work late nights sometimes.
Yeah, I've heard.
And joining us for the very first time, the author of a series called Son of Sin, Mr. Christopher Mix. Chris, how we doing?
Hi. Good. Warm. 107 here today in Arizona.
That sounds awful. Have you been getting any big storms down there?
It's that season. It's monsoon season, but not yet. No.
We just had a couple of seasons I was without power for, believe it or not during the actual storm itself, but almost 24 hours after the storm.
Nice. Fun.
It was
You
not.
probably get tornadoes, don't you?
We do get tornadoes. There's nothing
Oh
like
my.
a good Midwesterner storm, and yeah, it's fun. It's a good thing. I've missed these.
Think you'll ever become a tornado dad?
Oh, I will. I will. I still sit out on the porch and I'm like, all right, tornado time. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go watch it.
My mom always says, hey, grandma's house is right around the corner. Something happens, you probably should just, go over there and make sure she gets downstairs, even though she's going to fight you with it. And I was like, yeah, but tornadoes. I want to watch.
And then you got Zach over here. He probably has perfect weather, 365 days a year, roughly.
With mild forest fires here and there.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, mild, multiple 1,000-acre forest fires.
I used to get
That
affected
changed
from the
that
smoke from
color.
those.
That
Yeah.
color the skies of San Francisco a bright red all hours of the day, like some sort of Lovecraft eclipse. But no, out here, not terrible. Although last summer, the nights somehow got to like 90 plus. And it's not.
Mm.
Hmm.
Are we losing him?
I think we're losing Zach for something. I'm not sure what's going on there.
It's that weather we were just talking about.
To your throat.
Oh, is he back? Is he back?
Yeah, we're losing him.
He's going into the void.
Some degree.
Zach, we're losing you, buddy.
Zach?
I think we lost him.
Good start.
Great start. It's
a couple weeks.
Oh, there he is.
Oh.
Oh, nope, never mind. He's gone again. He's gonna tune in. He's just gonna keep tuning in and out. It's okay. It happens. Oh, I see him moving.
Okay.
Oh,
okay now?
You're back. I'm back.
You're back.
Yeah.
You're back from the void.
Okay.
You're not
I mean,
watching
I
the stream or
only
anything,
see
are you?
the spinning Discord loading icon, but if you guys can see and hear me, I guess that's all that matters.
Now we do. You were breaking up for a second.
Yeah.
I thought the forest fire just flared up or something.
I don't know if there's one local to me, or if there is, the sun hasn't been blacked out yet. I know that there's one up where my girlfriend is, up in Canada. There's apparently the air quality out there for a while was the equivalent of like a pack of cigarettes a day or something.
We're getting hit hard with the smoke here in Indiana from the Canada fire. Like, I walked outside the other day and I got a pack of Marlboro Reds, essentially, just from saying, ow.
Hope you got air purifiers.
I do, actually. I do in the house. I do have one, but I'm just still recovering from getting sick. I'm wondering if that's what caused it to begin with.
Well, it certainly didn't help.
No, it has not helped.
Yeah.
But Welcome in, all first-time viewers. If this is your first time tuning in, this is kind of how the show works. I bring on a narrator and an author, or just an author, or just a narrator, depending on. And usually my co-host Joel is here, but he was sadly not able to join us tonight. Zach, you'll have to yell at Joel for that one, just because. Yell at Joel.
Yeah, just send me a transcript, and we'll send him the equivalent of a howler.
Okay, cool. Works for me.
I'll record a very angry message for him.
I'll just give you his phone number. You can just call him.
Beautiful.
So we like to talk about books and, usually the work of said author we have on the show. So today's topic of discussion is going to be the Son of Sin series, mainly focused on book 1 with diving in a little bit to book 2. I just don't want to put out a lot of spoilers there because,
Fair.
Spoilers are no bueno sometimes.
Mm.
But we do dive into spoiler territory every once in a while. You will get a giant warning saying, hey, spoiler time. If you're not wanting to listen, leave now. But that's not until towards the end of the show. With that being said, let's go ahead and dive in to Son of Sin Book 1. Now, Chris, tell us a little bit about this world of Son of Sin.
Oh, where do I begin? Well, I'm a full-time Twitch streamer, so I do nothing but play games. And having played so many and seen all different ages, I started to feel, like there was a bit lacking in, I guess, the kind of stories I like. So at some point in your life, you kind of realize you can't just complain, you have to create. So I said, why bitch about it? Why not be about it? So I started writing, and that's pretty much where it started. As far as the story, I actually had the basic concept of that since about 2008. I was a security guard at the time and was just doodling down ideas, and Klein and all them had existed for a while. I just, sometimes you just don't ever do things even though you want to do them. Then when I got to my 30s, I started feeling like, okay, if I'm not going to do it now, then I'm never going to do it. So I just sat down and started forcing myself to write. And then as far as the world and all the other characters I didn't have, one of the biggest piece of advices I've always heard is to just write what you know. So New Beam City is kind of based on a futuristic version of Phoenix, where I live out here in Phoenix, Arizona. And like when I refer to the freeways and stuff, you'll see in the books, I actually am thinking of specific freeways out here. I think I even name dropped one of them in the second book. I think I used the number I-17 or something. It was kind of an Easter egg to anybody like, oh, I wonder if,
I mean, I think that's pretty early on because isn't Honey riding her motorcycle down?
Yeah, but I didn't mention an actual freeway, like the name of it. But yes, good.
So that's... Is it more of like a cyberpunk dystopian futuristic world, or how would you describe the setting of New Beam City?
We're not in dystopian yet. Maybe we'll be there. I wouldn't say dystopian, but I would definitely say cyberpunk.
Okay.
Like if have you played 2077?
Yeah.
So that city is a made-up city in California, right? So I guess in my version, you could say, sometimes I play with the idea that it is actually Phoenix, but in an alternate timeline where it just didn't have the name Phoenix.
Gotcha.
So I would think of it that way, maybe 30 years in the future from now, I guess. You don't want to be the Back to the Future, right? When you reach that date and you're nowhere, like we're not flying in cars and hoverboards and everything. So I don't want to put a date on it, I guess.
Okay, that's fair. So obviously cyberpunk's like areas and settings are kind of a big praise right now because of the release of Cyberpunk 2077, and
it's been a frustration.
It has been a frustration. I bought the game day one, and yeah.
Well, more so than that, most people have no idea that cyberpunk's a genre.
Right.
Like they just when I say it's a cyberpunk book, they think I'm literally meaning that it's a part of that world. I'm like, no, it has nothing to do.
It's just the area, the genre, and everything.
Yeah. The word's been around for far longer than the game has.
Right, yeah, but having that conversation is just, I have to have it so often, and it's they don't. I've had people don't believe me. They'll debate me like, no, like, yes, it's a subgenre of sci-fi. Like you're gonna debate me on, like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, like, did they not know about Neuromancer? Cyberpunk's been around since the 80s.
Right.
Yeah.
Blade Runner's cyberpunk, isn't it?
Thank you.
Well, it was a 2022. Cyberpunk 2022 was a tabletop game.
Right.
So I mean, yeah, yeah. Blade Runner, like, there's been early examples, but yeah, some people just aren't aware, I guess.
Well, I mean, I'm happy we're getting more cyberpunk stuff just because I do love a good cyberpunk like world. And yes, Shadowrun. Thank you, Zachary.
Yeah, Shadowrun. Yes.
Another good cyberpunk example.
That one's excellent.
And I mean, Zach, you have a couple of cyberpunk books under your belt, especially cyberpunk or what is it? Matthew Goodwin's series.
Oh yeah, Cyberpunk Saga.
Cyberpunk Saga. Thank you. Love it.
Yes.
It's good.
That's what you've done the most of, right? That's the most of the audiobooks you've done are cyberpunk.
Most of the sci-fi I've done.
Is cyberpunk.
I've done a wide variety of genres. But yeah, I would say the vast majority of sci-fi has been cyberpunk. Yes.
But you like the really descriptive love scenes, I've heard, like the really awkward, weird.
Oh, he's got some good scenes. Simon Archer, yeah, like we're gonna talk. We love some good romancy scenes.
Should I throw some of those in there for book 3?
Oh, please do.
I will say I get hired a lot to do that. So
Zach, you just have a very erotic voice. It's okay.
Yeah.
Well, then how am I supposed to intimidate Joel if my voice is erotic?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess there is a route to that.
Cash in. You got the voice? Why not?
Just go full dominatrix on him.
We'll just.
Oh no! Oh no, we lost it. There he is.
I'm transitioning from audiobooks. I'm just gonna do ASMR now.
There you go. Hey, that's big for some
again?
reason.
You lost me again?
You're back. You're back.
Briefly.
There was a spike. It's just. Also, Stephen Landry's in the chat. Hi, Stephen. Love you, buddy. He said Snow Crash was the first cyberpunk book I read, and it opened up the genre for me.
Nice.
Question: Snowpiercer. Is Snowpiercer cyberpunk?
Well, they don't really show enough of the rest of the world, I guess.
Because it's all on the train.
Well, the rest of the world is like the world's been frostpunked.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Frostpunk.
There you go. New genre.
Well, I mean, have you played Frostpunk? That's an excellent game.
It's hard as shit, but
I never heard of it.
Oh, it's so good. It's
cool.
It's steampunk in a future where the sun is going out.
Stephen Landry said no, it's not cyberpunk. So yes, we're good.
No, but like I was like, if Frostpunk was a genre not just a game, I think Snowpiercer would count as Frostpunk.
Snowpunk.
Yes.
So
that's cool.
Or according to a very famous YouTube essay, a stealth sequel to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to open that can of worms with you after that because I gotta nitpick that one. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the characters and the environment that is New Beam City.
Sweet.
We have a fun fighting arena type area.
In book 1, yes.
In book 1, because the book 1 is called At Arm's Length. Arms are kind of big
topic.
A point in the first book.
You could say that, yes.
It caught me off guard, so thank you for that.
Chapter 1, yeah.
Yeah.
So
they had to rope you in, right?
We'll go with that.
Yeah, it's like everybody picks Fila as their favorite character, and I'm always like, yeah, that's the easiest one to like, because how can you not feel for her? Yeah.
Yeah.
She's adorable. And then we got Husk, the pig man.
Hux.
Or Hux.
Yeah. Hux. Yes.
Which I just picture him as Bebop from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Ninja Turtles is a good inspiration of mine for sure.
So now I just need my Rocksteady like character.
Oh, there's some. Have you done book 2? Yeah, you did book 2.
I've done book 2.
Yeah, I know Zach likes playing the villains.
Oh, Zach does a really good villain, and goes back to
from experience. Maybe from experience.
Well, that's not for me to comment upon.
I'm pretty sure Zach has a message from me somewhere because anytime I read anything he narrates, I send him updates on it. Like, this is where I'm at. And there was one character he did, and I was just like, dude, that is absolutely terrifying. What the hell?
Was it Kruger?
Oh, in my book or a different book?
It was a different book, but yes, it was Kruger.
Oh, darn it. Oh. So
I mean, Kruger is pretty freaking terrifying.
Kruger's
yeah, I've even
shit.
had somebody pick him as their favorite character. I'm like, what? Are you sure?
Kruger is one of them. It's one of the guys from I Am the Bad Guy that you did it really, really damn good.
Oh, Crazy Kane.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, Crazy Kane.
Cool.
Stace_9 said that she likes his Dawn. Yeah, Dawn is.
Oh, I love Dawn. Dawn's fun.
Yeah, a lot of people like Dawn.
Yeah, I love
Stace
Dawn.
is my wife, by the way. She likes Cynric the most. That's her favorite character. So it's been fun to hear him add those effects to his voice too, because it's been coming off really well.
I love doing that.
Zachary says he really likes your honey. I do too. I can just picture Zach with doing the hair twirl and everything every time.
Well, I told him when you record this, you should be twirling your hair, and he said, "Oh, I already was."
Yeah.
Give him the bubble gum and everything. Let him pop a bubble and just, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I have there is one character that I did from a different book where she would twirl bubblegum on her finger, and kind of without realizing it, I realized I was doing that when I was reading the lines.
I called that out.
Cool.
I called that one out. That was a fun episode, just saying.
Do you ever record like your video? Like that could be a fun outtake or something. Like you could show that.
I haven't in a while, but yeah, I have done it. I mean, especially something that I will sometimes do as a promo is just record myself working. So
yeah,
and you've done it in Discord too before.
Yeah, I have streamed, yes.
And those are always fun to watch.
Record the when you're doing those real mature scenes, those love scenes. See the awkward faces.
I have actually streamed those. I've streamed those live a few times, and a lot of the time it's because like I forgot that it was coming up. So I'm like in the middle of a story, and then it's like chapter 7, and then I start reading, and I'm like, oh right, this is the 20-page sex scene.
Is that the hour and a half one from Alaskan Fire?
No, I did live stream all 90 minutes of that.
That one was...
I didn't realize how long it was gonna be, and like I was 30 minutes into that scene, and I'm like, how long is this gonna go? And then I looked down, it was 90 minutes long.
And then you remember your parents are watching accidentally, or make it even worse.
Well, so
I mean, I will say a lot. When I got my start, I was doing a lot more of those scenes than I do now, and my first booth was in their closet.
Oh.
So I have no idea, or in a closet in the room that I stayed in, and I don't know if the ceiling insulated sound super well. So who the hell knows what they heard when they were downstairs watching TV and I was upstairs working.
And we have a new segment coming up. Joining us live from California, Zach's parents are joining the call now.
Oh, yay. Are you proud of me yet?
This is all just a roast.
Perfect.
No, I got to experience the 90-minute scene on my way home from Colorado when I was driving last year from Colorado to Indiana. So it was just me and my cat in the car, and everyone on the channel knows Lunar at this point. And Lunar was in his crate next to me, and he just was staring at me the entire time. So they
can understand English.
That was a fun one. That was a fun little 90-minute segment driving between. Oh, where was I? I think it was between Nebraska and Iowa at that point.
Fun.
Maybe. I don't remember. It was like 2:00 in the morning too, so that made it even worse.
Oh dear.
So, let's talk a little bit about the characters. Obviously, we'll start with the main boy, Klain. Give us a little insight on Mr. Klain, our little nomad.
Klain comes from... Obviously, I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan. So my first thought was like, I want a character on the level of Cloud. So I'm always putting a bar in my head. Like, I want my character to reach that. I want to see Klain on Death Battle. You know, that YouTube series where they put characters like that would be my biggest dream, would be see him versus Cloud. So that's the kind of character I was trying to make. So I had to like break down, okay, how do you get him there, right? So I've got the magnetic power and everything, which is going to finally get explained in book 3. Something to look forward to. And the biggest desire for writing him would be that I would never want him to be referred to as a Mary Sue. So obviously he's already got a power of a magnetic ability, right? So it's already a little bit easier, but I'm not just going to hand him everything. He's still going to have his ass kicked. He's going to have to struggle. He's going to have to train. He's going to have to learn and adapt. And you can't just be like, oh, I'm Superman. I think they're so boring, right? Like the Goku is more interesting than the Superman, in my opinion. So a lot of his
depends on
inspiration
which version of Superman we're going with. Just saying.
Well, the one everybody thinks of first. It's just he just curb stomps anybody.
Yes.
And with that, I wanted him to have the creative side, so the GG shop, and with him having been in the, with that being a central part of his character, I wanted him to take his power and not just use it for fighting. So that's why the shop came in, and how he could create things, and he wanted to get out of fighting and start his own little business. And I'm an entrepreneur myself, so like I said earlier, write what you know. I was like, why wouldn't I incorporate that into Klain?
Right.
And I just love the idea of the little gadget shop out of someone's garage because he was at his end of his rope type situation, which is also expanded on finally. The having nowhere else to go and why is finally getting answered for Klain and why he ended up in that situation.
All right. We love to see it. And then, of course, we have the owner of Fa King, which every time Zach says it, it sounds like he's saying fucking.
Yeah, well, that's intentional, right?
I figured as much, and I've been wanting to give Zach shit about it.
But well, that's why I always like, because when I read it, because obviously the intent, I got the intent pretty quick, but it's like that's why I always try to add like a tiny bit of a beat in between, but it's like at the same time, because I just like I didn't want to say they're going to go eat it fucking, so I just go at fucking, but for some reason that almost sounds funnier to me. So I'm like,
but it could be an all-you-can-eat buffet.
Yeah. Well, so the person that's actually inspired by is right there in chat. Dualistic. He's one of my best friends. He is actually Vietnamese, and his family, his mother specifically, has made pho for my wife and I forever.
Ooh.
So their last name is actually Lee. So Mr. Lee, Fila Lee.
All right.
It's based on them because they've been such huge people in my life, and a lot of my characters are kind of like homages to people like that, and he's a huge inspiration of mine right there, Dualistic. And
Dualistic, welcome to the chat.
He's the real life Mr. Lee.
Nice. We love it. Also, Zach, just letting you know, Zekler said that beat is gone at 1.5 speeds. So
okay, well,
which beat?
The beat like between Fa and King.
Instead of just saying Fa King is the restaurant, I add like a tiny little pause. And yeah, I guess apparently because a lot of listeners like to listen at like 1.25 or 1.5, and I guess it just goes away at that speed.
See, hot take on that. I like to listen at normal speed, just 1.0, because it is a performance.
What's the rush?
I want to intake all of it.
Right.
If a book is 14 hours long, I want it to take 14 hours of my listening.
The one thing that I will say that we learned, at least, I don't know, Zach might feel the same. For book 3, we're going to be conscious about writing that out. And I think we're going to start referring to it as PK noodles a little bit more in the right moments, because there were certain times where book 2 had a huge moment, like the end of a chapter, in the middle of a chapter, and it would scene shift. Like a Kruger spot specifically, and then all of a sudden he says "fuck King," and it kind of takes the tension away from that moment. So trying to be a little bit more aware of that, and
that's fair.
I don't know, it gets jarring to hear too much.
Sure.
I think.
Like anything else, yeah. I mean, because it's like, I do love the name of the restaurant, but yeah, sometimes like.
It's a real place. I didn't know that until after I released. It's actually in California. One of my Twitch viewers, knew of a place called that, and he mailed me a T-shirt. I actually have the T-shirt. I should have worn it today.
Hey, hold on. I need to see if it's close to me now.
I think it's NorCal. I don't know. But the other funny thing is they actually opened one near me, of all places, out here in Arizona, a place called Fucking. I was like, what? Where's my royalties?
Oh yeah, there's one. It's about a 2-hour drive from me, but
Yeah,
it's not
My
super far.
I never knew.
my dad took
Yeah.
me to a pho place out in Colorado, and I don't know what it was called, and now that's going to bother me.
Yeah,
Ah, damn it. Anyways, moving on. So we've talked about Clayne and Mr. Lee and everything,
yeah, and his daughter.
and his daughter Fila. We
Well, we
love
didn't
Fila.
get there yet,
Well,
but
we haven't really discussed Fila yet. Do you want to discuss Fila first, or do you want to discuss Husk first, or Hux?
I guess we can talk about Fila.
Okay.
Obviously, Mr. Lee's daughter. She's, I like the rambunctious, youthful character. Every story benefits from that, right? Like sometimes it's too cringe where they get too corny. So trying to convey her correctly is extremely important to me because I think she's going to be a headliner for Son of Sin for a while because I have a whole arc that goes,
Ooh.
way far beyond when she's 13.
How old is
Actually, she
she
has
in
a
the first two books?
13,
She is 13. Okay.
but she has a birthday in book 3, so it's going to be fun.
Oh, yay.
Nice.
I guess that's a minor spoiler.
Well, so do you? I will let you know who she reminded me
Caution
of.
everybody. At some point, she gets older. Sorry.
Whoa. Spoilers.
No, she's not allowed to age. Never age.
Yeah.
Um,
What
before
were you gonna?
I knew you were a Square Enix fan,
Mm-hmm.
this had been my opinion. Like when I listened to the first book, she reminded me of Yuffie,
There you go.
specifically from Crisis Core when her and Zach meet each other for the first time in the
Very good
Utah
reference.
village. That's what she
Mm-hmm.
reminded me of. I could just see her going up to Clay and going 1, 2, 3, 4 punch, and then just running off.
Yeah, that's exactly who you should think of.
That makes
I w-
total sense.
yeah, very good. Yuffie is a great baseline for her.
I like my
But
Square Enix.
yeah, so do I. She's fun. I worry about, obviously I was really harsh on her in the book 1 and she's got a
No
rough life
shit.
and yeah. So, she's going to have some happiness, but obviously things are pretty dire
Spoiler
and
alert, book 1's kind of dark. Just heads up.
yeah,
Book
could be
It's
two's
a
a
little
little
worse.
more lighter.
Like, I don't think, yeah, like, I thought that scene was well done. Like, I didn't think it was played for shock value at all when I read it. I was like, yeah, that would, I mean, especially given who Hux is, it makes sense that he would do
Zachary said
that.
she got superpowers out of it, so whatever.
I
Right.
mean, yeah,
Right.
Whatever. I can do what I want. Whatever.
like, I never, I'm one of those people that never quite understood why Adam Jensen was so mad.
Mm.
Fair.
The one thing I've had come up a couple times about Fila is like I get wanting to I don't know, we're talking about a fantasy type setting, right?
Yeah.
And some people pick it apart and I've had a couple people come to me and ask, "Well, why didn't she go to the hospital?" Or why this or that? And I'm like, "Okay, so we're in a different sort of society, right?" And I explained in the book that sword Hux was using pretty much cauterized the wound right away, right? So she's not
Yep.
bleeding out. And I said, like, it's literally in the book, and that the paramedics just left her with pain meds. And people coming, well, that doesn't really seem to make sense. I'm like, of everything going on, that's the one thing that sticks out to you that the paramedics didn't take her away. I
I
don't
mean,
know.
yeah, like, once the blood vessels are sealed off, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah, and we're in
Right.
a world with artificial limbs, like Stace said. We're not in this. This isn't based in reality or something. I don't know.
She's got kind of main character syndrome, so it's okay. Like we knew it was gonna be
Oh,
good.
I would say she's definitely a main character.
Absolutely.
I didn't know if she would be considered main character or side character.
Yeah, like Zechler. The same reason they don't call the cops in a horror movie. What? Oh, so then what's the next scene? The characters sit around for an hour and wait for them to
Yeah,
show up.
Just get in the
characters
damn
make
car
it
and drive
happen.
away. That's all I have to say.
Yeah,
I had a
I've
whole.
actually,
Go ahead.
I've actually had somebody say that the book 1 has a slow start, and I'm like,
No, it doesn't.
I
Should it
didn't
take
think so.
half as many pages to get to what happens?
Because it starts with the scene with King, like because they're having a chat,
Oh,
and I'm like, that's not that slow. It doesn't go on for that long.
I was like, didn't even last a couple. Yeah, that was a
Yeah,
quick
I don't
It's
know.
exchange.
like
Like
what, a
taking,
2 minute, 3 minute exchange.
yeah, I didn't think it was a slow start. Like, well, how is it supposed to start? There's bullet fire and this
Well,
explosion, and
in my opinion, like that scene kind of helped the tension because you needed that relative calm to be interrupted by something. Like that's kind of what made what happened to Fila land,
Mm-hmm.
was that there was nothing really bad going on. It was
And that
just
she
like,
was
okay,
just a
normal
kid,
day.
and you knew that she
Oh
was a kid.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's been a, as a, I'm still a new author, right? So
Yeah.
one of my biggest challenges is accepting those type of criticisms and figuring out where I place them going forward. Because, they're maybe not wrong. That was a feeling. They told me how they felt. I'm not trying to discard that. But when you don't think you're making that kind of a mistake, because obviously that's something I'm wanting to avoid. I don't want somebody to think it's a slow start, but I certainly didn't think it was a slow start. I
It's
don't know.
not a slow start. It's a very well paced book. I mean I powered through the first book in 1 day. Zach sent me the code, and 5.5 hours later I was done.
Wow.
And I was listening to it while driving for Lyft and Uber.
Nice. Yeah, you mentioned you listen to it while exercising, and
That is my go to now if I'm at the gym or anything. Joel, my co-host, when him and I were going to the gym, he would listen to like Dungeon Crawler Carl or something along the lines, or something like new. I go to something I'm comfortable with, and I was like, what is a good book? Oh, Son of Sin. That one kicks ass. And
nice.
it gets the adrenaline going.
I would absolutely love to make another version one day with Zach's narration, but with music mixed.
Oh,
I
that
think
would be
You
so
can
much
totally do that.
that would be dope. But getting the rights and the money that would probably cost, I don't know.
Well, you'd either do that or you'd have to get your own composer, which also is expensive.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But I have a couple ideas. I want one thing when life's not so crazy. I would like to figure out like taking his like just take chapter one of his narration, mix it with music, and then AI art, and just do chapter one as a YouTube video.
Oh,
See
that
how
would be
that goes.
fun.
Mhm.
Yeah, because we just recently started doing the AI art. If you guys seen that.
Yeah.
I think you showed me a couple of the AI arts on my post on Twitter when I was talking about listening to book two, because Zach said, "Hey, book two's out," and I was like, "Fuck, let's go."
Yeah. Well, book three hopefully will be even
I'm
better.
excited. I really am. And once I get my a shelf that is not destroyed on the ground.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was funny. How'd that happen?
Oh,
Did the cat jump on it?
No, it just collapsed.
Oh wow.
And
oh, that's always fun.
I guess I just have too many damn books. Luckily,
Is
it
there
was mainly just the
such a
Star
thing?
Wars books that got damaged.
Oh, the
Uh,
new one?
a lot of my Legends hardbacks. So
Nice.
was a little
That
upset by that,
sucks.
but I'm just happy my cats are okay, because
Could have crushed them.
it crushed the litter box. Like it landed on the litter
Oh,
box. Like, so Zach, I sent you a picture of the
Oh,
wall.
yeah.
That wall is right above where the litter box is. Like the litter box was like the front of it is crushed. Like it's still usable. It's just I haven't
mm,
really. That door's kind of closed, and Solar was staying in there so she could get accumulated to everything. But now she's out roaming the house constantly now, and slept in bed with me for the first time last night.
fun.
It was not fun. She is like 2 months old, and she's a pain. I love her to death though. But
Well, we have a cat in Son of Sin also.
I
Yeah,
I
Kiva.
I love Tiva. Cat's
Kiva,
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, Kiva.
The cat is actually the design is based on our cat, same coloring and everything. So,
Hell yeah.
and our cat's name is Yuffie.
Nice.
Chris, we're
That's
gonna be
all
great
relative.
friends.
Yeah, you see nothing yet. I don't know. You think book three's shaping up well, Zach?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I've loved what I've read.
yeah. Good
Yeah.
Zach
sequel.
told me I'm in for a treat. He hasn't given me any other details. He just says you're in for a
Oh no,
treat.
but I've loved it so far. Like something interesting has happened every chapter.
Ah, that's nice to hear.
Yeah. I've never like gone through and been like, well, there wasn't anything that struck me as like, well, that was kind of fillery. It's like, no, that was
I
I'm
definitely want
glad
to know though
this
if
happened.
they're definitely want to cut the fat out if you do see that. So
Oh yeah, but nothing that struck me as a story problem. It was all very, very solid. It
good.
was just, yeah.
I've actually had that. I've had that comment too that book two jumped around too much, and that I just want to know what's going on with Clay. And I'm thinking, like, I mean, all of us have watched several movies, animes, played video games, and we all know that anything you watch, play, or whatever, it jumps. Like, you don't just stay with Luke Skywalker the entire movie, or
No, you
like, what do you, okay, so
gotta
now,
have your Battle of Endor in there as well.
yeah,
Oh, we got a
but
question for
they're like,
Zach in the comments.
Oh, do we?
It's from Stace. It says, Zach, how has editing been on a book you know you're going to be voicing or voice act in the future?
That's actually really fun to do because I like obviously what I want to do is um look at what like I want to best convey the author's vision, of course. Like any alterations that I make hopefully to be in better service to what is wanting to be conveyed. But it's also kind of cool because I'm like, the way that I adjust it is often like, this is going to be fun to say. So
yes,
Gives you a little prep time.
it's really it's interesting. And if nothing else, it's amazing prep because I have to like pour over it really thoroughly.
hmm
So like by the time, I get to the end of it, I would know pretty backwards and forwards what happens. So it's actually been really, really fun. It's something that I hope I get to do more of. Because I've always had a passion for editing. Like I used to run a company website's blog, and I would edit pretty much everybody's articles, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah,
well, you have an
it's
opportunity here. You can rip me apart about how rough my rough drafts, like those
oh,
are like what you're reading is legit a first pass. I haven't even gone through it. I'm sure it's just a nightmare.
I mean, I wouldn't say that. I've noticed like it's
Just
everything.
slightly.
I'll put it this way. Like, yeah, obviously, as an editor, there's stuff that I'm gonna consider rough that I would tweak, but like I haven't noticed anything like everything I've read, I've understood what was wanting to be conveyed. The
Yeah.
adjustments that I make are largely just here's a way that could be brought into like sharper relief. But
Yeah.
beyond that, no,
I think
it's
my
I would
biggest
call it.
weakness is the word repetition, right? Like,
Yeah, but I honestly, even in what little writing I've done, I think like most authors wrestle with that somewhat because it's like once you think of the perfect word to convey something
you just
and
stick
you
to
have
it.
to write the scene, it's like, well, shit, now I've got to think of how many synonyms of this thing.
Yeah.
So even though, but it's like, and none of them quite convey it the way that one word does. So no, that's a universal author woe, I think. It's like,
Mhm.
but I like that word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one of the other criticisms I got, somebody said that they think the characters would have more lingo. And the funny thing is, like, one of our past editors had cleaned all of that up, and even though I might have had it, but
Oh, so like the slang got edited out?
yeah, they're like they should have more slang, and I'm like, I can't win, you
Eh,
know?
you're never gonna please everybody.
Yeah.
As long as
Yeah.
like most of you like, as long as most people love it, you're doing a good job. And
But
even the people like every person that loves it is gonna love it differently and love certain things more than other things. It's just,
mhm.
I mean, hell, the same's true. Like I've had some people because like when I do girl voices, some people like that I don't try to pitch them up too high. Some people hate it. And they're like, he
Mhm.
doesn't sound like a girl at all. And my immediate thing is, have you heard what my normal voice sounds like? Like, in what universe is this going to be convincingly a female presenting voice? But at the same time, there are other people who have voices of a similar tone to mine that can do that. So
mm,
it just depends on the person. No artist is going to be universally loved.
No.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
So I do have a question, and I guess this could go for both Zach and Chris. Of how would you define the Son of Sin series like in a genre? Would you consider it progression fantasy? Would you consider it more just like sci-fi? I guess progression sci-fi would be this one because obviously he does kind of get new abilities and everything and stuff. So how would you define it? Because you've talked about gaming and everything. It's not necessarily like lit RPG or it could be considered game lit. Just I'm curious to see what your thoughts on it.
I describe it now. I think my favorite string of keywords is a cyberpunk dark fantasy.
Okay.
Because it's not. I'm actually going for something I don't think's been done before. To my knowledge, somebody might know something, but I don't really feel like I've seen cyberpunk blended with fantasy. Because like Zach knows, even in book 2, you like we're getting into more fantasy creatures.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's not just cyberpunk, and I'm kind of blending two things together that I haven't seen because it's something I want to see.
Yeah.
The lit RPG thing, I honestly have been dwelling over that for several months. I would not mind redoing them at some point to be that, and like because I guess from what I've learned is you're establishing their stats, and when they level up and like they got this stronger, I would probably need help. Somebody like were to I haven't written that, but I think it could very well fit in there.
Well, I mean, that's the whole premise of Stats on Stats. We're a lit RPG podcast and everything is so.
Oh, if you guys want to do the lit RPG version of Son of Sin,
you will talk to Joel on that one because Joel is the mechanics expert. I'm more the character development expert. Like when it comes to like that, like Joel loves his character or his mechanics.
Well, and I think that's why that's a good choice of co-host because really with lit RPG, those two things are supposed to be merged.
Yeah.
It's characters develop, but they operate within a world that has very gamified rules about it.
So that'd be the hard part for Son of Sin probably.
Yeah, that's always the part I'm most impressed with lit RPGs. Is it's like how do you
they have to think
of a whole rule set for
right.
the world that makes it feel a little more like a game.
I know there are some authors out there that like I'm not going to drop any names just because I'm not 100% sure on how the whole process goes, but they treat it like a D&D thing where they roll the dice and everything. So say if Tim is going to level up 3 levels, roll for which stats he's going to put his stuff in and how many points he's going to put it in. So that's where, but I mean, with book 2 specifically, it gets a little more game lit, like with him training and doing the VR game with the bunnies.
Bunny borders.
We love bunny borders. And just like some of the different abilities he has, it gave me like game lit and progression fantasy vibes. My co-host Joel said that he goes, not specifically his cup of tea, which is not a bad thing. It's just he likes the beefy stats and everything.
The nittier and grittier, the better I generally find with him.
Yeah. Zach, you're not wrong.
Oh, I know. I'm not saying that is a bad thing.
Oh,
that's
I know.
A very popular.
No, that's just like that's the best way to put it, and I couldn't get to there. Where I care like about the emotional trauma the character's been through. I care about like the feelings.
Me. Yeah.
And like, I mean, Zach and I, we've had multiple conversations about like books he's done specifically, and I'm just like, what are these characters feeling? Because I love it. Zach, why are you hitting me in the feels, man? Come on. And then we talk about my trauma and everything, and it just goes downhill. But that's beside the point. So that's where I wanted to ask because, like, would you consider writing a lit RPG? Like, how?
Yeah, I actually Sinric. He is most of how his whole approach to what is going on in the story is very gamified.
Actually,
he's coming at Klain. Yeah. It's all specifically tailored that way for a reason. Sinric is kind of a video game challenge for Klain throughout.
True.
And his power level is based on that, actually.
He's
what you just
favorite.
Brought to mind for me too is probably through Sinric's eyes, that's what the world probably looks like.
Exactly. And he defined his image based on what mankind felt as was a beautiful enemy, is what he said.
Is Sinric just Ultron? Or, like...
He's Sephiroth.
Okay. I was going to say, he gives me, like, Ultron vibes a little bit. So I just, like, I hear James Spader's voice in my head.
Yeah. Yeah, his, book 2 with the speakers and the synchronizing to the heartbeat and everything. That's all, like, video game. Like, if that was a video game and that started happening, I think anybody would be into that.
That's some Kojima level stuff right there.
Oh, thank you. Wow. That's high praise.
Yeah.
Some mild Psycho Mantis vibes, like let me just read your memory card real quick, and I'll tell you about your past.
Yeah, yeah. That whole thing was. I don't know how you guys feel about marijuana, but that was me with a joint, sitting down, writing that, and I was just imagining
I lived in
exactly.
Colorado. We're good. We're good.
Yeah.
I'm in
So
California. You think I'm any different?
my wife will tell you I drive her crazy sometimes. I've just got dark synthwave blaring in the house, the joint, and then my keyboard. I'm just like, I'm
Let's go.
dialed in. Yeah.
Synthwave's
And
the best, man.
yeah, I know. You should. I got book through. I don't know.
Stace
I
said
think I sent
she's
it to you.
deaf.
Well, you guys seen the boombox? Have you guys seen the Son of Sin boombox?
Yes.
I have
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. Yeah, I made my own boombox out of woodworking, and it has Son of Sin logo. And I can. You want me? Here, I'll go grab it real quick.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it is.
Love
It's
it.
badass.
All right, now
She's
that
gonna
he's
grab it.
okay, I was gonna say now that he's gone, we can talk. Oh, he's back. All right, we're good. We're good. Everyone's
So
got
is
to
that
behave. Best behavior.
where, because it
I,
sounds like you do a lot of your own electronics work. Is that kind of where the
yeah,
inspiration for the GG
for
drum
Klein,
shop
for
came from?
exactly. That was the
Yeah.
whole idea, was to make this something like
Oh,
Klein
that is
would make.
cool.
And so it's got the logos there. I did all the painting myself. The Son of Sin words are made with glow in the dark glue I made myself. I just mixed in glow powder and Elmer's glue.
You did your own chemistry. Nice.
Yeah. And then the speakers, those are just car speakers, and it's got a Bluetooth module, so it just connects to my phone. So when I write, I'm blaring music through the tablet, and I got a Bluetooth keyboard right
Yes,
here.
science.
That's right here. This is how I write. I write on this keyboard, and I listen to music on there.
Nice.
Yeah. So yes, I try to be clean in real life.
That's still pretty
Right
cool. I'm
with
not
you
gonna lie.
now.
Yeah.
This
Uh,
is this has definitely
what?
been a fun episode. I'm enjoying this.
Good.
What were you about to say, Mr. Mix?
We were somewhere else before that. The fight scene with Cindric.
Yes.
Yeah, that whole thing was me. Like, I'm thinking it's Son of Sin's. Obviously, I'm writing it to be a book and a entertaining story to read,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also in a way a pitch. Like, I want people to feel like that's a video game because I want it to be one. So I wrote that whole thing to kind of feel like you were Klain and this android's coming at you, and like the music, he's playing music's like the the speakers. If you remember that scene where he had the speakers rolling down his arms and he
Yeah.
was having them in his palm and he was tossing them, I was imagining little or Alexa echoes, and he's tossing them around, and they're just like adhesive to different parts of the top of the building, and they're just blaring music wherever he is. And I think that
Nice.
would be an incredible video
Oh,
game
that'd be
Oh,
awesome.
final boss. Yeah.
that's like audio surf ramped up to 11 where you could die.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I was
Yeah.
gonna ask because you mentioned you wanted sort of that feeling of being immersed in a game. Is that why you went with like a present tense narration? Like, because you instead of recounting what happened, you're telling the story like as it's happening.
You've seen that challenge in the editing, right? Like sometimes Stace is always on my ass about that, about present tense, past tense, and uh, yeah, I guess I would say because it's more about the moment
Yeah, because it does
than
work well that way. I've noticed that. Like, it does give it a feeling of more like urgency and immediacy, which definitely is in line with a more video gamey feel. So,
yeah, I went with because you know how the story will shift to a different character. Like say
yes,
you're with Klain, when it shifts, it's that same moment, so it's the same timeline. But
yes.
you don't need to hear Klain going to sit on the toilet. So
No,
you
of
know,
course.
you give them a break, then you go over here during this good stuff, and then it comes back. So it's usually, I think, yeah, I'd say 95% of it's all current tense, right?
Yep.
So I think that's important because I'm thinking of it in a show or a video game progression.
Yeah.
I don't want, obviously, there's going to be some past tense. This happened. Book three is going to have some of that, obviously, but
Yeah, it
most of
has
it.
like certain flashback sequences and things it would have to be. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, no, I noticed that because when you were talking about that, it was like, oh yeah, the way that it's written, it lends itself very well to that feeling. I do notice that stories that are written as though they're happening as you turn the pages, as opposed to being recounted, have more of a TV game feel. So
Mm-hmm.
it works very well.
Yeah, I don't really know how other people write theirs, but I just kind of
Oh, they're
did it.
both. I've read tons of stories in both,
Hmm.
and they both have their uses and things. But I think it was a good choice for this story. If
I,
that was
I definitely
kind
like having the present tense like aspect
yeah.
of it.
It's easier to follow.
Well, I
And
also find what's interesting is I find that my narration actually will change depending on the tense that the author wrote it in, and I don't even it's not even a conscious thing.
Right.
Like I read books that are written in a different tense, in a past tense, a little more slowly, like we're recounting by the fire, whereas like with your stuff it almost feels like I'm doing like a live commentary of something happening where I'm like,
Oh,
oh my god, he just got punched in the face,
you
as
don't know what
opposed
to expect at any moment.
yeah, exactly. It almost feels like that as I read it, so it's a lot of fun to do. I actually really like present tense story narration
so
Good.
because of
Yeah, what drives me crazy is obviously I can see the appeal, but it drives me crazy. Like take the Witcher books for example, or I
mhm.
guess, or is it the Lord of the Rings? One of those series. The way they write it is they'll go through pages, hundreds of pages of this story arc, but then when they shift to another part of the world, they go back to this spot where this part started. You know what I mean? So like
I
say
think
you
both
have,
do
yeah.
yeah, you know what I'm talking
because
about? So you do all this and it goes back here for these people. So in my mind, I'm like, I just wanted to, I don't want people to have to say, okay, so this is at that time, but this happened at that moment. That it's just,
Yeah, it's
there's enough going
keeping
on already
yeah,
to have to wonder when this happened compared to when that happened.
so I actually have
yeah.
a question for Zach, and I might have asked you this before, my friend. Um, do you prefer a third person narration view or a first person narration view?
I wouldn't say I necessarily have a preference. It's more of a the experience is completely different. In terms of like I will say when I write, I prefer third person. When I narrate, um I will say first person is harder
Okay.
because I have to keep up a character voice the whole time.
Right.
So like if somebody says this dude's British, I have to narrate the whole story in an accent. So
Oh, that's
it's a
fun.
lot more of an endurance challenge for me, both mental and physical, especially because I've made the mistake a couple of times. And I mean, I don't regret it because I liked the way the character sounded, but I've made a mistake of having a character sound like this. And it turns out like three-quarters of the book is first person narration, and I'm doing this voice. And you can
Oh,
imagine by the end of that, my throat's raw. So I would say it's not so much that I like one better than the other, but third person is definitely easier
right.
because I can use my normal voice the whole time. First
Okay.
Mm.
person, I don't have that luxury.
Because like I've read books and I'm sure you've experienced these in a few. I think actually I have a couple in my library that you've done where it is first person for a good majority of the book, and then there's like a interlude or whatever where it's talking about like a villain character or like another side character, 3 years prior. It's like in 3 years ago, and Stacy was doing
Uh,
this, blah 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 blah. Sorry, I just threw out the first name that came to mind.
yeah, yeah.
But like sometimes I find it like hard to follow because we're in like a first person like area, and say it's following little Timmy from down the road for a good majority of the book, and then it switches over to you know Billy Bob for like a flashback sequence from when he was 8.
Yeah, it doesn't work. I
It's
don't think.
sometimes it works,
It's hard to keep
sometimes it
track.
doesn't,
Yeah,
but
it's
like
hard to do.
with the narration itself, that's where, because I do a lot of audiobooks. I think I have like 400 books in my library at this moment.
That tracks.
Which part, Elisa? Which part made you tear up? You hear that, Zach? You made somebody teary in book 2. You gonna apologize or?
I don't know. Are they happy that it happened or are they
Oh,
mad?
I'm sure. I'm just I'm just being sarcastic.
Yeah,
I've
I'm
yelled at Zach for giving me a damn near anxiety attack.
you're
Oh,
okay. So you're welcome and or I am sorry.
there you go. One thing he's one of our hurdles anyway. I don't really know if this is a Zach challenge, but we do have a challenge ahead of us. You've read it. You know that song I keep referencing in some of the chapters that
Oh
Clayton's
yeah.
hearing. So that is a song that's actually a real song, but the artist has agreed to let me use the lyrics in the book. But the problem is the song is female vocals, so we don't know how we're going to convey it in an audiobook. And obviously, they said they're not completely on board with letting us use the song because that would make it easy, right? We just could mix the song into the audiobook. But
I mean, the other option there is you could just, I mean, I know several very talented female narrators that are
would they
also
sing it
singers.
or would they
Yeah.
just say it?
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
If they're giving you the rights to use the song, I mean, I don't know.
So they do a cover.
It would be a matter, yeah, it would be a matter of waiting until they had the time. So you might be looking at waiting a little bit to get them to do it. But no, the easiest way if you need a female vocal song is just get a female vocalist.
Zach, without dropping names, is it who I'm thinking? Okay. Okay,
Okay.
because as soon as he said that, my mind went one place. I was like, "Ooh, this is the person you need to talk to." Oh, you're tilted now, Zach.
So, because I don't know if or when she'd even be available, but yeah, and even then, there are several.
It's just a page or two.
Narrators that are also singers that could absolutely nail that. You just have them. You could either do what I think, because they probably wouldn't, if they don't want you to use if they don't want you to use the whole song, what you
I don't think they want to at all. I don't
like if they don't want you to use like the musical
the
backing.
actual physical. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the easiest thing to do to make it, because that there, if I'm remembering correctly, because that's kind of a hallucination sequence.
Right.
So the easiest way to do it that I think would give it an appropriately creepy quality would do something like you would get a female vocalist to sing those parts, and then in post-production you could add a little bit of like a reverb to give it a haunting effect. So it would be an a cappella cover, but with like a reverberation that makes it sound like it's in his head.
Okay.
This is giving me anxiety just thinking about how this is gonna go. Also, Zach,
your
camera's
it's really
tilted.
good.
So
yeah, but there's ways to do it. But yeah, definitely, I would not suggest for a second that you have me do that. This is just get a good female singer to do it, and then we can just add post-production effects and make it kind of our own.
It's pivotal to the whole book 3 story, that song, so you have to land that part.
Yeah, get it. Yeah, then you want to absolutely get it done right.
Yeah, I'm excited. I don't know if you've been to the second mention of that song yet in the later chapters.
Not yet, but I'm getting there.
Yeah. Yeah, that one part's real good.
This is giving me pure anxiety just thinking about how this song and the scene is going to go, and I'm all for it.
Book 3 is fire, and not to toot my own horn.
Oh, yeah.
Zachary commented earlier, he said, Book 2, everything was turned up to 11. Book 3 is going to be wild. I completely agree. And then I'm guessing that is...
I'm taking the gloves off because...
Yeah, Lisa said, I'm excited seeing everyone's skills improving in book 2. I
gave up because the biggest criticism I got for book 1 was that it was too short. So then I made book 2 21 chapters, and nobody reads it because they say it's too long. And now book 3
length.
Yeah.
And now book 3, I'm just agitated. I'm just going to write what the hell I want. I don't.
Honestly, do that. That's what you should do anyway.
It's annoying, right? Like, how do you try to listen and adapt, and then you give them what they want, and then it's exactly what they don't want.
And that's what I like about the writing community and everything that I've kind of become a part of, like just as a reader itself, is there is something for everyone, especially in like lit RPG and game lit stuff. There is just a genre for someone out there. Everyone is gonna have, their likes and their dislikes. And it just
but length.
Well, and I when I finished the first book, I was like, wow, that was kind of short. And book 2 had already been out on Kindle at that point when I had read book or looked at book 1, and I looked at the page count. I was like, okay, 188 pages, and I went and looked at book 2, and I was like, oh, book 2 is much longer. That's going to be worth the wait. And I ended up reading a little bit, and then I sat down because I was like, oh, I gotta wait for Zach's reading on this because that's
it. It's been in having 2 years past now. I've actually realized book 1 being short is kind of a blessing for multiple reasons, because printing books is surprisingly expensive.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when your first book is short and sweet, I can hand those out like candy. Versus book 2, if you rope them in, they're going to buy it, right? So I'm kind of relieved that book 1's short, and it was short just because it wasn't intentional. I was actually just legit nervous. I didn't know if I could be an author. So I ended it at 7 chapters just based on unsure of myself, I guess. So then book 2, I was like, okay, let's go. And now book 3, I'm like, okay, now let's go. I don't know. It worked out, I think.
It's getting
because
hot here.
even in audiobook 1, that's a short and sweet 4 hours that should rope you in for book 2. Plus, the price is steeper, so that you get a taste for 1 if you want to keep going.
Yeah,
works out, I think.
And book 1 it's phenomenal. Like, a lot of stuff happens in a short amount of time.
It sets up the world quickly and effectively.
It does.
Like, you'll know if you want to get the rest of the story based on that.
And I mean, we get a lot of likable characters and a few characters where you're like, wow, this guy's a dick.
Yeah? Oh, Hux.
I mean, yes.
Yeah. But then you meet,
like
I was on the fence about Honey for the longest time.
Oh yeah.
I cannot tell with her. I can't read her as a character.
Book 3, you're gonna love book 3.
Oh, I'm excited for book 3. And I mean, one, Zach, thank you for turning me onto the series and saying, hey, here's a new series I'm doing. You're going to love it, because Zach knows what my taste is when it comes to these books. But also, he knows I'll listen to anything he narrates. So
I try not to abuse that power.
Zach, abuse that power. You know I will. It's just the backlog is massive right now. I have 6 books that Justin has narrated that I need to power through.
You gotta do that, dude.
Because I just looked at my emails and he's like, hey. I was like, oh shit, life crap.
In that vein of the amount of books you consume, how does mine hold up? If that's a fair question.
For me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know who the question was for. It is in my top 10 fantasy books, like sci-fi fantasy books.
That you've ever read?
That I've ever read.
Oh, stop it.
No, I'm not kidding. I love the world. I love the characters. I love the environment in general. With the fighting scenes and everything, like, I felt like I was there watching these fights happen.
Oh, good.
I love the arena. I love everything about what you've done. I think the one criticism I had was how short book 1 was. But it hooked me. And that's where I'm like, this is
good.
It was a good intro. And I've listened to it, I think 4 or 5 times since that first initial listen last year. And
nice.
Like, like I said, it's my go-to when I'm working out, just because it gets the adrenaline going. It gets, like, where I'm like, okay, I just want to go get into a fight at this point.
You ever gotten into Dragon Ball?
Oh yeah.
That's the vibe.
Like the OG Dragon Ball, like the original kid. That's the kind of tournaments I was going for.
At my parents' house, I have a signed season 1 copy by Akira Toriyama on DVD of Dragon Ball.
Can I hold on to it just to protect it?
No. Okay. No, it is in my parents' basement for a reason, because I didn't trust it in the move. But
yeah, I was just gonna bring that up, Stacey. So one of my biggest desires is to extend book 1 and do the full tournament. Like, instead of just skipping to the semifinals.
Yes, please.
I already have all the other fighters, like the goofy kind of like the ones Dawn had to face and Klain had to face. I would love to just extend book 1 by 6 more chapters.
Seeing more of Dawn's fights would be really cool.
Dawn is a fun character. That's another character.
Dawn's fighting style.
Yeah, so I would love to extend book 1 just for the tournament, because you could do 6 more chapters on each of those rounds. And
I agree,
it might be better in an anime, right? Like, I don't know about the book, but I could probably make it just as
the fights have an anime quality to them, for sure. Like, other than this obvious, like, cyberpunk influences, when you were describing, like, the powers and the way the fights played out, I was getting Dragon Ball vibes.
That's the goal.
For a live action like aspect, I was getting, like, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball, like, original fights. But if we were switching over to, like, a live action, I was getting the 2008 movie Never Back Down.
Yeah.
The kickboxing movies.
Yeah.
Starring Amber Heard before everything went to shit.
Yeah, it would work. I would love to. Stace and I talk about all the time who would portray these characters.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who would you guys pick for Klain?
Zach.
Any
Oh, come
for
on.
a live action
For a live
adaptation?
action, just we could get the hair going for Zach and everything.
Oh,
He can pull it off.
yeah, I also would need to do about like 2 or 3 years of intense physical
Yeah.
conditioning.
Zach, let's all just go in there and we'll just work out together. I'll move out there. We'll work together. Like it's
Just
it's
get
good.
into Wing Chun. Get into
I actually studied Wing
Muay Thai.
Chun.
Oh yeah, I'm actually name dropping it in book 3.
Thank God.
Yeah,
Thank God.
I love Wing Chun. I actually just watched IP Man 4 today, or It Man
Such
4.
a good.
Yeah.
Okay, Chris, we're best friends now. Just so you know.
I do YouTube commentary movies.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, so Stace and I watched today our first reactions. It's just our reactions to the movies, and yeah, we just recorded it this morning.
No, I trained in Wing Chun for about 5 to 6 years, and I loved it.
So you must really like Klain then.
Oh, I do. Klain is my favorite.
Oh, nice.
Which how old is Klain roughly?
He's 27.
27?
In book
Yeah.
1.
I'll play him. Screw it. I'll get in shape real quick. I'll play him. I already know the fighting style. We're good.
I always he was based on, if you know the actor Chad Michael Murray.
Yep.
That's who I kind of always
Okay.
envisioned him as. But he's too old now to play him.
If I had,
Yeah, but he
I could
does
see
have
like
to look about it.
I could see like Tom
Yeah.
Holland or Timothy Chalamet playing him.
He probably needs a little bit more bulk on him. I don't know who
Both
it
of
would
them could
be.
do it. Or
What about
no.
what about Andrew Garfield?
He's a little too old now.
He was my favorite Spider-Man of those couple.
I think so. It was like I feel like Tobey Maguire was the best Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield was the best Spider-Man.
Tom's the best
Yeah.
And then
combination.
Tom Holland was like a balance of both.
That's
But yeah,
what
I
I said.
loved Andrew Garfield's performance.
Yeah, I was upset when they
I
dropped
just
him.
I wish he'd been given maybe some better material to work with, but I don't think anything that happened.
This is probably going to be a hot take, but any scene where it's him and Sally Fields together, they steal the movie. Any scene those two are together, like that is just those are some of the best scenes in those movies. Now, granted, like we get some really good Spider-Man stuff and everything, but like the relationship between Andrew Garfield and Sally Field is Aunt May and Peter Parker to the T, and I love it.
Yeah. The other person I thought could play him,
Jason Momoa.
Stace doesn't think so. Hold on, I'm drawing a blank. Yeah, Tanner Buchanan, you know him?
Oh, what's he been in?
He plays Robbie in Cobra Kai.
Yes. Okay.
Oh.
I thought he'd be a good Klain.
Ah.
He's a little short,
Little.
but but hot. Stace
Get him to look a little more, because I imagine Klain being a touch more rugged. If you could
Yeah,
get him.
well, he's young. Tanner's pretty young. That's
about
why I'm
Hawk?
saying, like, we need young people. Not too skinny. Yeah,
Hawk gets jacked.
Tanner's 24 right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So 27, he could be a perfect Klain, maybe.
Yeah. No, he's the right age for sure.
Yeah,
You just got to find a way. Klain's got, in my mind, like a little bit of ruggedness about him, because he does remind me of Cloud quite a lot, especially with the motherboard.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have that quality to him. But yeah,
Yeah,
no, I think
seasoned.
For
I think those could all be solid casting choices.
for Mr. Lee, depending on what the age difference would be,
Oh, I would love Jet Li.
I would.
Yeah.
I have 3 picks. I have 3 picks. I have Jackie Chan, Jet Li.
Too common.
Jackie Chan can do some really good serious roles.
Yeah,
Jackie Chan, Jet Li, and then also Donnie Yen, who
yeah.
obviously-
Donnie would be perfect.
Donnie
He kind of
would
looks
be
like him
Donnie,
already.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's way outside my budget.
Donnie's not too old. Jackie's older than Donnie.
Yeah, but we're talking about a dad in his 50s.
Yeah.
Donnie
These
can play
guys
it.
are in their they're in their 60s now.
I thought
By
Donnie
the
was
time-
in his 50s.
By the time this ever gets off the ground,
Okay,
it's probably
fair.
be 20 years from now. That's the
Fair.
problem.
Not Vietnamese. Okay,
But, like,
that's
if
fair.
it was 20 years from now, then you could look at somebody like Randall Park, I think.
Oh, Randall
Yeah.
Park would be good.
Yeah. Because, I mean, if you're 20 years from now, he would be the perfect age.
Yeah.
Good old Asian Jim. Oh,
But,
now,
I was
now I'm
gonna-
be sitting here doing a fan casting. Ah,
Oh, that'd be fun. You should. Those would be nice tweets. Tweet out stuff like
I want
that.
to cast Steve
But
Harvey in this universe.
the other thing I was going to say earlier, and I didn't get to, I actually have a full, like, I want to, after book 3, I'm going to try to do what's called like Tales from New Beam City, which are the side stories. And they already have a whole chapter on Hux, what happened to him the night before that surgery.
Ooh,
Oh
That one's really good because
I
it's
want to
just
read that.
him on a drunken binge in New Beam City that led to the screwed up facial
Oh,
surgery.
led
I
to
would read that in a heartbeat.
It's
led to
really good,
Kruger
yeah.
doing Kruger stuff on him.
Yeah, you probably like Kruger, huh?
I like voicing him. I mean, as a person, he's deplorable, but as a character, he's a blast to voice.
Yeah.
Like, he's obviously a terrible person, but like, he's fun.
We're having
Yeah.
so many new show ideas come in because now Steven's saying fan casting should be a new segment on Stats on Stats. Yeah, I know. I gotta get Joel on board with all this stuff. He's still not on board about the cold read stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely like I think that's been one of my big challenges too is getting people passionate about any of it. Like you guys, honestly, like 100%, like I'm a Twitch streamer and everything. You guys have done more to promote my books than any of my own community. Like getting word of mouth going is so hard.
it
I
is.
can't even
It's a
begin to
challenge.
explain it. Stace and I have been having to accept that we just have to stop trying to push the books on Twitch because people just don't care. So
It
marketing to actual book readers, we're having to pivot.
Yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, it's challenging to kind of work your way into an unfamiliar community for sure.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, well, we just did our first convention, and even that was eye opening. We learned a lot just doing that, and going forward, if we go again, what not to do, what to do.
Joel
But
and
That's
I
awesome.
Joel and I are getting ready to do our first con this year, like with the actual Stats on Stats team. So just me and him, because he's gone before to Dragon Con, but this is my first year going with him to where we're actually going to try to market a little bit and bring in a little bit of a bigger audience.
yeah,
Shit biscuits.
you see that, Zach?
Oh, you have a question.
No, I only
People,
have a Discord loading icon.
Stace said people have commented that your Kruger was too good that it could not have been a part of your personality.
Yeah, I mean, it's buried somewhere in there.
Zach does a really good job at playing the villains. Like
That's
he's
important.
it's
Yeah,
really good. Like I want to see. I can't wait to see like other series that he's done where he's had to voice some more villainous characters. I just can't wait to see them unhinged in the next book because we're
Uh,
getting to the point where they're unhinged in the second one.
yeah.
what do you
I'm
think? How do you think Kruger's doing in book 3 so far?
Uh,
Zach's gonna have fun. I can tell.
yeah. Oh, I already know.
Yeah.
Oh God.
It's funny is because he's not even the main threat. So think about
Kruger's a
that.
fun guy, just terrible.
He's like a side threat, really.
Yeah.
Can't
So
wait. I need to finish that. I wish I could just afford the time off Twitch to just finish this dang book.
well, I'm gonna have to come in and watch some of your streams and everything and make sure that.
Oh hell yeah, they're fun. I've been I popped in to watch one myself.
Yeah, I've been doing 12 years, and if in a perfect world, I'd be able to get Son of Sin off the ground, and I wouldn't have to be on
I
full time.
will. I'm doing like newer stuff on TikTok and everything, so I'll have to do a promo video for you
I
on
gotta do
that.
more. I gotta do more of my duet challenges on TikTok
Zach,
again.
I
There's a
haven't
few.
done any in so long. If do pick one I'll do and I'll do it.
Nah,
I'll record it.
well, don't
I'll,
pull his teeth.
I'll pick some scenes. There's got to be some choice scenes that I can turn into challenges.
I mean, we did some really good ones last year.
Oh yeah,
Like,
they just when I was first learning how to do them, they would take me forever to make.
yeah.
So I gotta build up a backlog of those. But yeah, that would be fun. I
Who's
think I,
who's the guy you had me follow for voice actors of TikTok?
was it Joe McKenzie, Ghost in the Mic?
No, you have me in his server.
Oh, Chris Greenfield.
Yes.
Yeah.
That dude's got some really good ones that I've been like backlining, and I'm just like, I need to do these, but I can't get them to where I can do it with my mic, and I have to do the headphones still, and I hate it. So it makes me want to bash my head.
Here, hold on.
Oh no, he's getting
Get one of these.
I need to. I just budgeting right now, my friend.
What I use. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, for me, I would use mine because I do have the iPhone interface, but hooking it up through my booth is a pain in the ass. I've got to like take all the ventilators out and run wires through the walls again. I'm like, I don't want to do that.
No, I like my new setup, which also everyone thanks Zach for my new setup of how good I sound because he recommended everything to me for this. So we had to go a little off the walls for like the interface, but I got the mic.
Saying, here's the disclaimer I would give though. You can thank me if it sounds good, but if it sounds bad, I am allowing you to blame me.
No, don't blame Zach. Blame me. Blame me. No blame towards Zach.
I'm about to have to do my whole setup, Zach. I'm moving, so I'm getting my own room finally. So I'm probably gonna have to hit you up for some of those. I need to sound tap in with a baby coming. You know.
Oh yeah, if you need equipment, Rex, let me know.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to go sound blankets because that probably doesn't look the best up on the wall, but covering gaps.
I feel like sound blankets in here.
I feel like most of the sound goes into air vents. Like if you're trying to dampen it in the rest of the house. Yeah.
I mean, because the thing is, well, if you're talking about the difference between soundproofing and sound treating.
Yeah, treating, I guess, is my word.
Yeah, sound treating is just like this stuff. It just dampens echo and makes you sound good. Soundproofing, that's a whole like that's like you gotta like take the drywall out and put mass loaded vinyl on on the studs in the walls and then put
that's
the drywall
not happening
back. That's a whole thing. It's crazy. Like I can nerd out about this for a long time, but I don't want to I don't want to keep everyone here for hours. But
discussion for another time. An episode just about sound.
I mean, we're fiddling with ideas for newer stuff for the show. Like we just did our first cold reads 2 weeks ago, which was fun. Zach, I wish you could have made it for that one. That would have been a really fun episode.
I will try. Yeah, I'm glad I could make it finally this time. But
4-time champ. Hey, you're still one behind HP Hollow, so you gotta get you on one more.
Runner up for now. And then eventually, once we're tied, we have to both be on the same episode.
Oh yeah. I'm just gonna I'm gonna have you guys like duke it out, narrator versus author that have not worked together at all.
Yes, that makes sense. I'm going to pit these two complete strangers who have no reason to hate each other together in death combat. That makes sense.
Zachary, he's not beating Edie Sky because Edie Sky is HP Hollow. We've been over this. It's just Edie Sky with sunglasses.
I had no idea.
It's the worst kept secret on Twitter.
That's so funny.
Oh, it's awesome.
Oh man.
So, but we are going to start wrapping up. Obviously, I told Chris that this episode was going to be like an hour or like 45 minutes to an hour and a half, and we're kind of getting to the end point here. So,
no problem. I don't know if I answered all your questions or not.
You did. You got a lot of my questions. I think we got a little bit here to where we can entice people into the universe without going into super. Yeah. I heard a loud bang and I wasn't sure what it was, and then I realized, oh yeah, it's the 4th tomorrow, so fireworks.
Yeah.
Oh god, recording tonight's gonna be a nightmare.
I'm debating if I'm going to because my voice is starting to sound a little bit better. I haven't coughed as much. I've coughed a little bit tonight, but not as horribly. So, last little segment I like to do before I go into my what we have coming up is what have you been reading? So, Chris, have there been any books you've been reading you want to give like a shout out to?
Just my own book.
All right, sounds good to me. So check out Son of Sin by Christopher Mix. At Arm's Length, Book 1, and Tower of Phantoms, Book 2.
And soon, Sins of the Father, Book 3.
Hell yes.
Need to finish that damn cover. That's probably been the biggest headache, the cover work.
Hey, Zach.
What?
Have you been reading anything good recently?
I mean, pretty much everything I read is stuff I read for a living, but yeah, I'm actually working on a few really good ones right now. I mean, in addition to my having the honor of line editing Sins of Our Father, and so I can personally attest it is the best of the series so far.
I
Oh,
can't
stop!
wait.
Really?
No, truly.
My best friend said that too. I was like, oh, you probably have to say that though.
No, I don't. Like this
Why?
is because, like I said, something interesting is starting to happen. Like is happening every chapter. The settings are really cool.
Mm,
Um, some of the even like the action sequences, like on the rails, even like the non-fight action sequences are fun.
good.
Um, the character background development's interesting. The hallucination sequence in the mall was fantastic.
The
So
mall. I think people are gonna love that
yeah,
whole couple
the mall
chapters.
alone is worth the price of admission. It's really good. So yeah, there's of course that. And then in terms of good stuff I'm narrating,
How about the nightclub?
yes.
I'm hearing a lot of
Uh,
fun stuff. I can't wait.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then there's also I'm narrating something called Shadow Agency that's going to be real good. It's a fantasy world with adorable animal people with different, boons and curses. The main character's
Oh.
a badger pickpocket.
And Zach, when were you going to tell me about this series? Because this sounds amazing.
I only just started narrating it last week.
No excuses.
So, yeah, and there's a bunch of other stuff, but yeah, mainly the big ones right now are Sins of Our Father, Shadow Agency, and then of course Eternal Dominion, Other Guys 3,
I
um,
can't wait for Other Guys 3.
Sunset Night, so the River of Fate book 2.
David North?
Yeah, David North.
Yay! Joel's going to be thrilled about that because
Yeah, I think I'm about God, I want to say 2 or 3 hours into it now.
how long is it compared to book 1?
I think book 1 was what, like 14 hours?
Roughly.
I think this one's like 10.
Okay, so it's a little shorter.
Yeah, but it's still
No,
a it's still a chunky book.
well, yeah, I know Joel's going to be thrilled about that because he asked me, he goes, "Have you heard any update on River of Fate 2?" And I was like, I can ask Zach next time I talk to him, and I've honestly
Yeah.
been
No,
spacing
you
it.
can always ask. You can poke me about audiobooks. I can't
Uh,
guarantee
I
that
just I
I
just
will
send
have
you a
it.
text and I send you a meme. That's really about it.
Exactly.
Uh, for me, I'm just gonna go ahead and say what the big one of what I'm currently reading. Eye of the Bedouin Bride by Matt Dinneman, Dungeon Crawler Carl, Book 6.
Oh wow.
That's where I'm currently at, and oh my god,
6 books. I wish.
it's a chunky series, but it's good, and some of Sound Booth Theater's best when it comes to Jeff Hayes.
Oh yeah.
So good, so good.
Goals. Goals.
You'll get there. We're gonna get you there.
Hey, I got in your top 10. I'll take that for now.
You did get in my top 10, and that's going over some
Book three.
Star Wars
That's
books.
top 5. Book 3 will be top 5.
Well, I'll
That's
let you
cool.
know where it's ranked. But let me put it this way, Chris. This is going over the Thrawn trilogy for me.
Thrawn's good.
Thrawn's Heir to the Empire trilogy, the original Thrawn trilogy by Timothy Zahn, is one of my favorite series of all times, and Son of Sin has topped it.
Well,
Really?
now they're giving that to Ray.
Hopefully not.
Have you
Hopefully
the
not.
new
We're
the new movie? No, they already set it up in the Mandalorian.
not going to talk
Oh,
about it.
look, there's Baby Yoda. He's a Star Wars fan. He knows what I'm talking about.
We're not talking about it. We're not talking about it.
Yeah.
Um, but also, I've powered through the good guys. I'm caught up on Eternal Dominion because I was missing like the last 3 books on the Sound Booth Theater app, and I went ahead and bought them and just powered through them. And then the newest Good Guys book. What else did I do? Oh, He Who Fights with Monsters, Book 2, Dungeon Core Online 4. King of Alchemy 2, I finally got to. Zach.
Oh yeah, King of Alchemy 3 as well.
Damn it, Zach. That's not the one
How do you
series.
Where do you get time, Zach? How can you even juggle all these and remember them all?
He's a speedster. He can stop time.
I think that there's more to that room than we know about.
It's a pocket dimension. Oh shit, I wasn't supposed to tell you that. Damn it.
Well, you can go back and not say it now.
It's like I still haven't. Now I gotta go figure out time travel. God damn it. Anyway, yeah, it's just I don't know. I've been quite lucky that so many talented people have entrusted their work to me. So
And Zach, I
I
will
just
say you've done those books justice, and that's coming from me.
well, thank you. I hope so.
Agreed.
I mean, I'm trusting you with teaching me, so
Oh, shit. Are either of you guys like X-Files fans?
yes.
Yeah, I used to be. I never seen
I
all of it,
have
but
the third book in a series that's very X-Filesy coming up as well.
Ooh.
oh,
Yeah.
Have
fun.
you told me about this series yet, or
It's called The Ship.
no? We've not talked about this, but we are going to at a
Oh,
later
it's
date.
good. It's
Okay.
like it's sci-fi horror.
All right, now we're talking.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, but what before we sign off for the night, we'll do the last little segment of hey, where can people find you? So, Chris, where can people find you on social media verse?
Just Twitter and Instagram by the same name, Mixtifer. Same with Twitch, YouTube, all of it, same name.
And
Easy.
on Amazon at Christopher Mix.
Yeah, I think they have my author pages screwed up. I feel like they have two. I don't know why, but they're both the same exact name, which is a little frustrating.
Rip.
But yeah, it's on there. Christopher R. Mix.
Gotcha. And Mr. Zach.
Twitter and TikTok at ZachJVO, ZachJVO. And then Audible, Zachary Johnson. You can find pretty much everything I've done there. And
Also the Sound Booth
Sound
Theater
Booth
app.
Theater, same thing. I think there's some releases I've done that are Sound Booth Theater exclusive. So you can just find me under my normal name, Zachary Johnson. And if you're an author looking to hire, you can find me on ACX as well under the
But
same
not
name.
until our third book's done. Don't hire him yet.
Obviously not. No, that's
Zach, question, because I'm drawing a blank here. You did Alaskan
Sure.
Fire. Did you do Vampire Kiss as well?
I did Alaskan Fury, the sequel. I am one of the characters. He's like I wouldn't say he's a lead. We'll call him a recurring. It's a vampire king
Okay.
in that series. I'm not Annie Ellicott is the lead narrator.
I know Annie's the main narrator. I just couldn't remember if you.
I'm one of the voices.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say because I know that one's like a Sound Booth Theater like exclusive right now.
Yes.
Shout out to Sarah King. For me, you can find me at Rich Dolphus on Twitter, Twitch, obviously here, Stats on Stats. On Twitch or on Twitter as well as Stats on Stats Lit, which I only have that linked to my laptop because I am bad about remembering passwords and I just don't want to reset it again. So if you want to get a hold of me directly, always just Rich Dolphus, RICHDOLPHUS, and you can get a hold of me there, send me a message, or say, hey, this is an author you should check out. I'm always down for like recommendations and everything. And yeah, Zachary, you didn't have to ban anyone today. We love to see it.
Shout out to you, Zekler, by the way, also. I've loved
Yeah.
our chats on Twitter about Son of Sin. He's been very nice.
Zechler is our mod and third unofficial member of Stats on Stats. We've had him on the show a few times, and he's always a delight. We love having him in here, and
We love Zachler.
And one of my gaming buddies. So
Sweet.
but for all things, oh shit, I forgot schedule. So our next episode will be on the 17th and the 31st of this month, where I will be having Demetrius. I'm not going to try to pronounce the last name because I know I am going to butcher it for a fact. But he's the author of Apocosmos, which is one of my favorite lit RPG series. And then on the 31st, we will have Joshua Mason, who is the author of 8-Bit Bastards. And that one's a fun little, just quick read series. And just, it's really fun. It's a funny story with some heartfelt moments. We love to see it. And then I got an email from Emily at Sound Booth Theater today for we're going to try to be booking Mr. Hayes for around the time Dungeon Crawler Carl 6 comes out, because that's something we've been trying to do for a long time. And we're also going to try to do a live show at DragonCon this year as well. Not sure how it's going to go, but we're going to do something.
Fun.
As Stephen Landry has told me, we're doing a documentary. So we're going to film a bunch of stuff, and we're doing a a documentary of Dragon Con, stats on stats at Dragon Con, and we're just gonna make it our exclusive or something. I have no idea. But we're doing Joel's bachelor party down there, so I'm not sure how much of the documentary is going to be shown. So
sounds busy. You're gonna be busy.
I am not going to have any time to relax.
Cool. Good.
It's going to be a fun time. Vacation, right? But for all things
Yeah.
Lit RPG, Progression Fantasy, and Dungeon Core Game Lit, all that fun stuff, this has been Stats on Stats. I want to thank everyone for tuning in, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Chris, Mr. Zach Johnson, thank you for joining me tonight. This has been a great time.
Thanks.
Likewise.
Everyone, have a wonderful evening.
That's good. Take care, guys.
Bye.